in the frigid, unforgiving lands of the north, a shadow always lingered over the boy named Jon Snow to the world. He was the bastard son of Lord Eddard Stark, the Warden of the North, a living testament to a rare moment of dishonor in a man renowned for his unwavering virtue. Raised within the ancient stone walls of Winterfell, Jon grew up alongside his trueborn half-siblings. He shared Robb's lessons in swordplay, Arya's rebellious spirit, and Bran's childhood wonder, yet he was forever separated by an invisible barrier. Lady Catelyn Stark's cold, resentful glares were a constant reminder of his illegitimate status. He was also a name given to bastards in the north destined to never inherit lands or titles. Yet Eddard Stark raised him with the same moral compass as his trueborn sons, instilling in him a profound sense of duty, honor, and justice. As the Stark children prepared for their respective destinies, Jon found his path pointing toward the freezing edge of the world, the Wall, feeling that there was no true place for him in Winterfell. Especially after Lord Stark was called to serve as Hand of the King in King's Landing, Jon chose to join the Night's Watch. It was an ancient order sworn to protect the realms of men from the wildlings and the mythical horrors of the far north. Accompanied by his direwolf ghost, a white runt of the litter that mirrored his own outcast nature, Jon rode north. He believed the Night's Watch to be an honorable brotherhood where a man was judged by his actions, not his birth. Upon arriving at Castle Black, reality dealt a harsh blow. The noble order he envisioned was largely a penal colony populated by thieves, rapers, and disgraced men. The Master-at-Arms, Sir Alliser Thorne, mocked him as Lord Snow, trying to break the highborn bastard. But Jon's natural leadership and superior training quickly became apparent. Instead of turning his back on his lesser-trained brothers, he began to teach them, forging bonds of deep loyalty with men like Samwell Tarly, a timid but brilliant boy cast out by a cruel father. Lord Commander Jeor Mormont saw Jon's potential and took him as his personal steward, grooming him for command. Mormont gifted him Loneclaw, a priceless Valyrian steel sword, cementing Jon's role as a rising leader. The true test of Jon's life began when he rode beyond the Wall on the Great Ranging. The Watch sought to uncover the mystery of the disappearing wildlings and the disturbing rumors of returning White Walkers. Captured by a wildling scouting party after showing mercy to a fierce warrior named Ygritte, Jon was forced into an impossible choice by the legendary ranger Qhorin Halfhand. To infiltrate the wildling army and discover their plans, Jon had to kill Qhorin and pretend to forsake his vows. Immersed in the free folk camp, Jon met Mance Rayder, the king beyond the Wall. He learned that the wildlings were not marching south to conquer, but fleeing south to survive the true enemy, the army of the dead. During his time with the free folk, the line between duty and desire blurred. He fell deeply in love with Ygritte, a woman who challenged everything he knew about the world, constantly reminding him, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." But when the wildlings prepared to attack the Wall, Jon's honor prevailed. He broke Ygritte's heart, fleeing back to Castle Black to warn his brothers of the impending assault. The Battle of Castle Black was a crucible of fire and ice. Jon led the defense against overwhelming odds, holding the gate against giants and fierce warriors. In the chaos of the battle, tragedy struck. Ygritte died in his arms, slain by an arrow, leaving a permanent scar on his soul. The Watch held the Wall, and in the aftermath, Jon's bravery and tactical brilliance led to his shocking election as the 998th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. As Lord Commander, Jon made the most controversial decision in the history of the Watch, knowing that every wildling left north of the Wall would be resurrected to fight for the Night King. He chose to let the free folk pass through the gates and settle in the north. This act of profound empathy and strategic foresight culminated in the massacre at Hardhome. There, Jon witnessed the sheer terrifying power of the Night King. Barely escaping, with thousands of wildling refugees while watching the dead rise with chilling silence, he returned to Castle Black, a hero to some, but a traitor to others. The traditionalists within the Watch could not forgive him for bringing their ancient enemies south. In the dark of night, mutineers, led by Sir Alliser Thorne, cornered Jon. They plunged their daggers into his chest. Each muttering for the Watch, Jon Snow bled out on the freezing snow. His life extinguished, leaving the realm of men devoid of its fiercest protector. But the gods were not finished with Jon Snow. Through the desperate magic of the Red Priestess Melisonde, Jon was brought back from the void. Resurrected and profoundly changed by the emptiness of death, he executed his murderers, handed his cloak to his friend Ed, and declared, "My watch is ended." His oath bound him until death, and he had died. Jon's return to the world of the living coincided with a desperate plea from his half-sister, Sansa Stark, who had escaped the sadistic clutches of Ramsay Bolton. Ramsay now held Winterfell and the North in a grip of terror. Driven by the need to protect his family and unite the North against the coming long night, Jon gathered an army of wildlings, diminished northern houses, and whatever men he could find. This culminated in the Battle of the Bastards, a horrific, suffocating clash of bodies and mud. Jon fought with a suicidal fury, nearly trampled by his own men, until the timely arrival of the Knights of the Vale, secured by Sansa, turned the tide. Jon beat Ramsay to a bloody pulp, reclaiming his ancestral home, and the Stark banners flew over Winterfell once more. In the Great Hall of Winterfell, the Northern Lords, moved by his courage and recognizing Ned Stark's blood in his veins, declared Jon Snow the king in the North. The White Wolf had risen, yet Jon had no desire for crowns or politics. His eyes remained fixed on the true threat. He knew the North could not survive the Night King alone. This realization led him south to Dragonstone, where he met Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons. Daenerys demanded he bend the knee. Jon demanded she believe in an army of dead men. Through mutual respect, shared struggles, and a journey beyond the wall to capture a white as proof, a deep bond formed between them. Jon saw a queen who cared for the people, and Daenerys saw a king willing to sacrifice everything for his realm. A passionate romance ignited, and Jon, prioritizing the survival of humanity over his own pride, pledged his loyalty to her, bending the knee to the Dragon Queen. As the allied forces prepared for the ultimate confrontation at Winterfell, a shattering truth was uncovered by his best friend, Samwell Tarly, and his brother, Bran Stark. Jon Snow was not a bastard, nor was he a Stark in name. He was the trueborn son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. His real name was Aegon Targaryen. He was the true heir to the Iron Throne. This revelation tore at Jon's identity, making his romance with his aunt Daenerys a complicated and tragic entanglement, and threatening the fragile political alliance they had built. The long night finally descended upon Winterfell. It was a battle of unparalleled despair. Jon fought through swarms of the undead, taking to the skies on the back of the dragon Rhaegal, battling the Night King in the icy clouds above. While it was Arya Stark who ultimately shattered the Night King and ended the threat. It was Jon's years of warning, gathering armies and forging impossible alliances that made survival possible. With the dead defeated, the final war for the Iron Throne began. Jon marched south with Daenerys to confront Cersei Lannister. But the victory at King's Landing turned to ashes in his mouth. Driven by grief, paranoia, and a distorted sense of destiny, Daenerys unleashed dragonfire upon the surrendered city, slaughtering thousands of innocent men, women, and children. Walking through the charred, blood-soaked ruins, Jon faced the most agonizing choice of his life. He loved Daenerys. She was his queen, but her vision of a good world was built on the ashes of those who defied her. Urged by a captive Tyrion Lannister who reminded him that duty is the death of love, Jon approached Daenerys in the ruined throne room. As they embraced, sharing a final kiss under the shadow of the Iron Throne, Jon drove his dagger into her heart. He sacrificed his love, his honor, and his freedom to save the realm from a tyrant. For the assassination of the Queen, Jon was once again cast aside by the lords of Westeros. The new king, Bran the Broken, sent him back to the Night's Watch, exiling him from the lands he had saved. Yet, as Jon arrived at Castle Black and reunited with his loyal direwolf Ghost, a sense of peace finally washed over him. The Night's Watch was no longer a prison guarding against mythical threats. It was a gateway to freedom. Leaving the politics, the betrayals, and the suffocating weight of royal blood behind, Jon Snow rode out past the wall. Alongside the free folk, he disappeared into the hauntingly beautiful, snow-covered forests of the true north, finally a man unbound, finding his place in the world at the very edge of it.